Sword Art Online didn't fail because it ended on floor 75. It failed the moment it made you believe you'd reach floor 100. For millions of fans, Aincrad wasn't just an arc, it was a promise. And this is the story of what happens when an anime breaks its own promise and somehow gets remembered as a classic anyway.
リンクスタート
Ask yourself something. Why do you still think about Aincrad? Not Kirito, not Asuna, Aincrad, the castle itself. It's not nostalgia. People love plenty of arcs they never think twice about again. This is different. This is a wound that never closed. And the reason isn't the characters, it's the storytelling. Go back to the moment it all started, the town of beginnings. 10,000 players trapped inside a game with no log out button. A man named Kayaba Akihiko standing in the sky, telling every single one of them the same thing. You cannot leave. You cannot log out. If your health reaches zero in this world, you die in the real one too. There is only one way home. Clear 100 floors. That's not a game mechanic. That's a contract with the audience. 100 floors. Every floor a new chapter. Every boss a new obstacle. Every victory earned in blood because losing here means losing everything. You weren't promised a story about a swordsman. You were promised the greatest survival climb ever put to animation. And that expectation right there became the entire product. Not the protagonist, not the romance, the climb. That's why the premise still gets brought up more than a decade later. Because for one perfect episode, you believe you were about to watch something no other show had the guts to attempt. Here's what made Aincrad dangerous in the best way. It wasn't the events, it was the possibilities. Every floor meant a new city, new culture, new economy, new monsters with new rules, guilds forming and collapsing, scarcity turning ordinary people into something else entirely. Think about how fast that first floor built an entire ecosystem out of nothing. Beta testers, the ones who'd already touched this world once, suddenly treated like traitors just for knowing more than everyone else. A word got invented for them: beater, half beta tester, half cheater. And the players wore that hate like it was earned, even though the information those testers had was sitting in a public guidebook the whole time. Nobody was hiding anything, people just weren't reading. That's one floor. That's how much story lived inside a single level. Now multiply that by 100. A leader letting greed decide who gets the killing blow and paying for it with his life. A party of new friends who found something like a family in a death game, only for every one of them to die trapped in a dead zone where the escape crystal stopped working, leaving one boy alive to carry all of it, and that was Kirito. A hidden AI built to protect the players' minds and then locked out of doing her job by the very system that created her, until she broke her own rules just to reach two people whose hearts looked different from everyone else's. And that was Kirito and Asuna. None of this is plot summary. This is proof. Proof that Aincrad could hold 100 completely different stories and you only got to see a handful of them. That's why Floor 1 still feels magical. Your imagination filled in the other 99. Now here's where it turns. Picture yourself watching this the year it came out. You're around floor 70, 30 floors left. In your head, that means months of story, maybe years, a whole world still waiting to be explored. Instead, the ground drops out from under you. The man who's been fighting beside the players since the beginning, the strongest one, the guild leader everyone trusted, turns out to be Kayaba Akihiko himself. The creator was inside his own game the entire time, playing it like a god who wanted to feel human for once. One final duel, and it's over. Floor 75. Game cleared. Sit with that for a second. Because the show doesn't let you sit with it nearly long enough. 25 floors just vanished, not skipped over, erased from the promise entirely. If you watch this in real time, you know that feeling. The half second of confusion before your brain catches up. Wait, what happened to the rest of it? That's the emotional core of this entire show. Right there. Not the wedding, not the villain, that silence. Right after the credits should have felt earned and instead just felt sudden. Let's be clear about something. The problem was never that the story ended early. The problem is what it sold you before that. Sword Art Online spends its opening hours convincing you this was a show about exploration, about the unknown, about standing on a new floor and not knowing what waits past the first three lines. And then, right when that promise mattered most, it swapped exploration for acceleration. Imagine if One Piece jumped straight to Love Tale. Imagine if Hunter x Hunter skipped Chimera Ant entirely. Imagine if Frieren cut the journey and just showed you the reunion. You already know the answer. The destination was never the point. The road was. Sword Art Online's greatest strength became the exact thing its audience never got to keep. And here's the part people miss when they say fans just wanted more Kirito. That's not it. Nobody was attached to Kirito the person. Probably. They were attached to the adventure he represented. The climb. The mystery of what floor 80 looked like. Or 89. Or 99. The unknown they were promised and then quietly denied. And then, almost immediately, the show moves on. This isn't about Alfheim Online being bad. It's about timing. Yesterday, you were watching people die for real over a game, life and death, permanent stakes, an entire cast lost along the way. Today, you're watching fairies fly through a forest with lower stakes and lighter rules and a completely different atmosphere. You hadn't finished grieving Aincrad. The anime had already left it behind. That disconnect is the real reason Alfheim Online gets remembered so much less fondly. Even though it's still technically the same story. The tone whiplash was too fast, and the show never gave you room to breathe between the two. Here's the twist nobody expects. Despite all of that, despite the rushed ending, despite the tonal whiplash, Sword Art Online won anyway. It took levels, stats, skills, guilds, and virtual worlds built on RPG logic and it put them in front of a mainstream audience that had never been asked to think about anime this way before. Other shows had experimented with these ideas earlier, sure, but this is the one that broke through. This is the one that proved to an entire industry that audiences would show up in huge numbers for a fantasy world built like a game. The isekai boom that followed didn't come from nowhere. It came from studios watching Sword Art Online succeed and deciding there was an appetite nobody had fully tapped yet. So here's the irony sitting at the center of this whole show. The anime remembered for abandoning one world went on to convince an entire industry to build hundreds of new ones. Sword Art Online didn't lose people because Aincrad ended. It lost them because Aincrad showed them something extraordinary and then took it away before the journey was finished. And maybe that's why, more than a decade later, you don't hear people asking for another Kirito. You hear them asking for the 25 floors they never got to climb. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.